What are you doing here, Brian?
Something about cyber. What are we all doing here?
Something big is happening here. Black Hat.
Yes.
So it's something special. You have to do it. Hacker Summer Camp.
Yeah, it's Hacker Summer Camp, and it's Nerds of the World Unite. We're having a good time.
There you go. Brian Dye, CEO of Corelight. You guys actually having fun even behind the scene this year.
We are.
We're going to talk a little bit about that. But this is just a 5-minute recap of really what you've been experiencing here at this Black Hat. What is new, what people are asking, what kind of questions, and how you're feeling about it.
So for me, the biggest thing that I've been asking every organization I talk to is, what are you doing with AI in the SOC? And it's kind of amazing because a year ago, folks thought it was a good idea, but they were kind of afraid of it,
yes.
Right? Every vendor claimed they had it. The folks knew the LLMs could do some things with it, but they weren't quite sure what to do with it. Now you fast forward a year later, and the answer is completely different, which is really interesting. So I'm talking to a lot of folks that are actually building their own agents for incident response. I'm talking to a lot of folks that are building their own agents for threat hunting. And what's happening across the board is that everyone has gotten so much smarter at not just how to kind of design their own agents, but how to trust the output, how to actually do their own quality control and test the quality of what they built.
And what has changed really, like technically, that has made people feel more comfortable about using agentic AI nowadays?
You know, I think it's really been maybe three things. One, a year ago, we weren't even talking about agent-based development, right? The ability to actually take and decompose the work into smaller chunks. That takes the uncertainty out of how the LLM operates. It gets you more discrete chunks of work that now you can trust individually rather than having a massively complex investigation in one query. So I think the agentic architecture has been massive. Number two, time in the saddle, right? The fact that folks are playing with this, they've gotten smarter, they know how to test it, they can now separate the claims from the reality. I think that's been big. And number three, and this has been really fascinating, is people are now understanding that the model and the agents are actually only two parts of the three-legged stool. The third part is, what data are you putting into this workflow? Because if you don't put the data in, the right data, the agents themselves will hit a headroom of logic. And folks are really getting smart about that, not just in terms of looking at their data, but also having the agents, the actual agentic SOC workflow, having it analyze at the end, what do I not know? What questions couldn't I answer? What data do I wish I had? So not only is the people building the agents and the workflows getting smarter, they're asking the agentic workflow to be smarter. And all that's completely different than a year ago.
Talking about real customization too, because then you can change as you go, you can adapt as you go.
Yeah, and create a feedback loop. Yeah.
Yeah, that's really cool. And how important is for you being in places like this, talking to customers? I'm sure you had a lot of meetings and getting their feedback. How important is that for the product development?
Oh, it's incredibly important for us on a few levels. One, to say that things are changing fast is an understatement. I think 2 years ago we used to say things changed fast, and 3 years before that we said things changed fast. Yeah. We were kidding ourselves. Now things change fast. So that just the pulse is incredibly important. And number two, we think about translating the network into the right fuel for AI. And to do that, you have to understand what design the customer is doing, right? Who is building their own SOC? Who is bringing in a third-party SOC? Who is doing this with their own kind of SOAR or SIM workflow? Understanding the different architectures the customers are building towards helps us inform what we have to do to make them successful. So keeping that pulse, independent of what the vendor community is saying, really hearing from the defenders themselves, what bets they're making, priceless.
There you go. So Sean and I are very excited to take a little tour later and going into the NOC. So yes. Tell me, what can I expect?
The thing I love about the NOC is that, security is about usually finding the needle in the haystack. If you look at what the NOC is doing, they're finding the sharp needle in the stack of dull needles. So the stories are so unique, but you also get a playground of experimentation, because there's two things happening there. First, you're finding illicit activity in the middle of a bunch of proper activity, right? If you look at malware analysis training courses and things like that, but then you've got someone doing improper hacking in the middle there. How do you find that type of threat? That's really interesting. But at the same time, they really use the NOC as a multi-vendor playground to go prototype new integrations, new workflows. So to be in there with really technically creative people that are really sharp from a security perspective, but also have that kind of product development mindset, you really get kind of both ends of it. That's the fun part about the NOC.
It's like pushing the limit with Formula One, and then whatever you find out, you can adopt it and bring it to the commercial car.
Exactly.
Like it's the extreme speed and the extreme, incredible stuff that they find, and it's in real time, right?
And yes, they're finding stuff that's incredible in real time, but also like just SOC operations and automation.
Right.
So last year, they were already doing what I think of as Slack ops, right? They were using Slack as the control plane to run essentially the incident response and investigations process, which I'm seeing a lot of other orgs kind of pick up now. So it's really kind of a place where lots of creative ideas come out.
Well, I'm excited. I had a really good time chatting with you here.
Enjoyed it.
Ryan, thank you so much.
Appreciate
Everybody
the time.
else, stay tuned, because that tour is gonna be fun. I may let Sean back with the microphone too. Stay tuned.